Stop when people thinking that they are open-minded.
Yeah. No matter they look at my hair or my body, I just don't feel comfortable.
Why so many male pilots, for example?
Yeah.
The closest person who give that label to you and comment you every day, then that is the most hurtful.
Yeah, like it happens. Zero.
She is one of the most important person who really like
Yeah.
Why
I'm just perfect. I mean, come on.
why are you wearing yoga pants?
Okay, yeah. Think about what you said to someone close to you next time. Seriously. So me being myself, how do I score?
Rank you? 1, 2, 3. Recently, I was telling everyone that I have a midlife crisis. I don't know what to do, like which way should I go, and pushing myself too hard, right?
Yeah.
My name is Vera. I'm one of the co-founders of the Women's Festival, and I'm also a sex educator.
I love my creativity, whatever I create, because I so believe in my intuition. All my creations are coming from my intuition.
I love the way how I look and the way how I express myself.
I admire myself for being probably one of the first one to be coming up with a certain idea and the first one who is insistent enough to make it happen despite all the obstacles. So that I admire myself immensely. Hi everyone, I'm Sonia. I would call myself a very full way of describing myself in a nutshell. I would bet that I am a cisgender woman, pansexual feminist, scholar, intellectual writer, poet, community organizer, advocate, and many more. But yes.
Easy answer. Even though in our society we think we have equality, but being born a cis woman or a cis man is just completely different experience. Seriously, it's just different. Let's say when you go for an interview, even though in Hong Kong, like a job interview, certain jobs they already have a criteria or their own hidden agenda.
Or
they just don't tell you,
or a certain way or certain mode of work that is not compatible with certain type of bodies, right?
Are you in a relationship?
Do
you have a boyfriend?
Are you planning to get married?
Yeah, are you planning to get married? If you are, and are you planning to have kids? Okay, why so many male pilots, for example?
Yeah.
Why so many of them?
Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah. I've only known one female pilot, one.
Yeah. I have a customer, she works in the airport to fix planes, and she said in her team, out of the whole airport for fixing, engineer to fix the plane, only 2 women. The women toilet is actually all the way to another terminal, and she has to walk all the way there to change her pads for menstrual when she has her
or to use the washroom in the first place, right?
Use the washroom because the nearest toilet is used by the male engineers. And it's not female and male lah. It's more like they are the M gun, there's pads in the bin, and they don't like it. They don't, they have some word,
superstitions, discrimination.
Yeah, things like that. Yeah, it happens. Zero.
Even in Hong Kong 2022. Come on.
Yeah, it happens.
Hello, my name is Lezlie Chen. I'm a local plus-size model and a singer-songwriter.
Because I just don't feel comfortable living in Hong Kong, to be honest. And then I feel like whenever I'm on the street, people look at me in a different way. No matter they look at my hair or my body, I just don't feel comfortable. I love clothes with very revealing, and they don't like it. And I think it's very important that we can choose what we really want to wear.
Wow.
This is very diva. I had been through some times which is, I think, really challenging, and most of the time I didn't really believe in myself, and that is very important to me.
I'm Canaan Fong, and I am an illustrator of the character Gigi Fong. The older generation, they just give me a lot of restraint and like a gel.
Do you remember I called you one time? Because I shared with her that, I suddenly don't feel confident in sharing about body positivity because last year's the panel topic is body positivity. I'm thinking, I'm not that body
You
positive.
said you were not positive enough.
Yeah, and I think I'm not qualified to be a speaker. She said, oh, even sometimes you are like not positive about your body, you can also share that in your panel. You don't need to be like very positive all the time to able to be sharing about this topic.
The most difficult challenges comes from more personal relationships, and for me, not being accepted as who I am, or like having certain very small, narrow framework that I have to, or people expect me to fit myself into, have been a constant source of like pain and struggle for me for a very long time. Wow, very diverse answer. 2, 3.
I will go first. The 8 is for all the work we have done.
You have done!
I have done
10 years! 10, like
sex education guru.
12 years of her life.
Yeah, 12 years of my life have been dedicated to sexual education, sexuality education, gender education in Hong Kong, from early childhood to adult to elderly. That's what I have been doing. This is for myself. Thank you.
She's like single-handedly changes Hong Kong sexual landscape. Yes, like that is for your
What have I done to help?
you.
I was a teenage lost girl, and then I watched Vera's video since I was
16.
not 16,
14.
12.
Wow!
And
Good for
I
you.
never found a person talking about sex or gender in YouTube, especially in Cantonese.
Yeah.
I never received those information about sex since a childhood. It really inspired me a lot to explore anything about gender and sex, even in front of my parents. Even I have questions about sex or about my sexual orientation, they don't feel comfortable talking with me. They just say, "Oh, just follow this path lah, get married and
Have sex like a straight person, huh?
No, we didn't even talk about it. I think she is one of the most important person who really like
Thank
Thank you so much.
Yeah, so like not enough inclusivity. Like that goes for like Vera, who had like her fair share of hate comments saying that like someone who is not quote unquote like normatively sexually appealing should not be talking about sex. It's just wrong. And then of course like probably Lezlie also face a fair amount of criticism because she is not someone who is traditionally thought of as being like sexual. Like probably someone who is not of the normative like standardized body shape like should not be sexual like period. And so yeah.
I want to change the world because I want the world to be changed so that my daughter doesn't have to suffer the way I did. That's why I want to advocate on having a much more equal environment so that people like her, like my younger daughter, when they are grown, they can live in a better world.
Family role discrimination. Like definitely family role discrimination.
Like caretaker.
Yeah, caretaker rights.
Yeah.
Family responsibility discrimination, pregnancy and motherhood discrimination.
For example, I'm a mother, right? So they encourage us to have kids, but then who is going to take care of the kids?
And I think like one very realistic problem is about how we think about how we do not think about reproduction as labor or as production. A lot of the time you get the sense that they're thinking about like giving birth as like the choice of a family or the choice of a woman. But then I mean if it is like something that is so private, then why are you calculating my baby in your GDP? Right? Well, you're calculating it in the population growth. So obviously it is not something that is that private, but then all the cost is either shouldered by the woman or shouldered by the family or extended family, and that is not fair. And so how do we evaluate like reproduction as production instead of counter-production for that woman or for that society? The difference between maternity leave and paternal leave, like of course obviously puts all the burden, the cost of like having like that child onto the woman and affect their career unfavorably, and that is all a fact. And so yeah, obviously. Oh, stubborn people thinking that they're open-minded. Yeah, I think I can speak for all of us.
I would say narrow. There are so many aspects is very narrow. Like the space we have is very narrow. Like even you want to have sex, there's no space to have sex, no space. How we think about our sexuality is also very narrow. Like, like sexuality is a spectrum, right? But then they always think that sexuality is just sexual intercourse.
Either A or B.
Either A or B.
Yeah, and sexual intercourse have to happen in a certain framework.
Yeah, it always is a penis going into vagina, but then it's
following
not.
a certain
or,
steps.
Or sexual fantasy has to be a certain script. So I think the imagination and the space we have, the way we talk about sex is all very narrow. The concept and everything. Yeah. 3, 2, 1. Everyone can be an advocate. You know, like it doesn't have to be me, it doesn't have to be us. Like if every single one of us spread words about sexuality in a positive way, in a healthy way, and talk about it as a norm, like it's a normal thing to talk about, then like people around you will start to change, and then you know the
fantastic, like anime
diagram. Okay, so this is you, right? So if you start to change the people around you, then like everyone around them will start to change as well, and then the society will change.
And then we can draw a second person.
Yes.
You see, like second person will be touched by the wave.
Yeah.
And then you see, wow, better already, no? Looks so promising.
You. Us,
everyone, all of us, because society, fundamentally is made up of people, like individuals. So, like institutions are made out of people. So
Laws are made up.
Yeah, laws are made out of people. Like comments, like hater comments, they don't auto-generate. So every choices that we make would make a difference. We all believe in that. That's why we do what we do in the first place. 1, 2, 3. Like I don't think you can see mine, but I'll read it. Mine is very short, like, dear Hong Kong, let's get better together. Like, period. Like, no explanation needed. Okay.
Dear Hong Kong, I wish you survive and one day thrive again.
Yeah. You know, if you know, you know.
Dear Hong Kong, let's make a better world. And I wish everyone in Hong Kong can try to make their first step.
I wish Hong Kongers don't lose hope, because I think Hong Kong is a place where a lot of changes happen. No matter bad changes or good changes, they always turn out good. We are able to get over all the challenges and difficulties.
Very positive note.